to the very first proper presentation for today. I'll be talking about making and growing money using trading software, EA's bots. How many of us are conversant with the term maybe trading bots or trading software or EAs? How many of us are aware of them? Okay, let me see. Like, even if you've never used it, you're just aware. All right, almost 50%. How many of us have used one for ourselves? Let me see. We have fewer hands. Okay, it's good. It's very good that we are few, because probably after my presentation, you'll be like, I will never use bot again. Okay, how many of us that have used bots have stopped using bots? Like stopped? All the hands that... Okay, how many of us that have used bots are still using bots? This is a regression analysis. You know, it's just going down, 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 down. So just 3 people left. It is well. All right, so making and growing money using trading softwares. The use of trading software is something that is quite popular in the Forex industry. That's for those that pay attention to that side of it. Practically speaking, almost every one of us is using a trading software, one way or the other, but we just don't know how, or an EA or a bot, in one way or the other, but we just don't know how it is a bot. So the first thing I would like to do in the first part of my presentation is to talk about trading bots themselves. My slides are as simple as I am. I'm a funny person and I talk a little. All right, so what are trading bots? Let me just make it simple, clear. Trading bots are any program, any software that we use to enhance our trading activity. Trading bots are any program, any software that we use to enhance our trading activity. Programmed computer software that is used to enhance trading activity. Why I'm saying this is because for many of them, make trades, make trading decisions, and go ahead to trade and close positions on our behalf. Does that make sense? However, there are trading bots that don't do that. There are trading bots that can be connected to a trading account just to help you. You see all those things that were talked about, maybe order blocks, fair value gaps, and any concept, you know, support and resistance that we'll talk about. There are bots that are meant to only help you identify them in the chart. Trading bots. There are bots that can help you close all your trades. If you have several of them and you want to close without knowing which pair, no, you can just click that button and it closes all your trades. That's a trading bot. There are bots that can be used to manage your trade. You've taken a trade and you want the stop loss to keep moving, maybe 10 pips following the price, like a trailing stop. You can create a bot for that. There are trading bots that can maybe do analysis across multiple pairs and tell you which one is better to trade based on maybe correlation and all the things that we've talked about. Does this make sense? So that we are not limited to think that a trading bot is that software you buy from somebody, put on your MT4 account, and it trades for you, and you just keep withdrawing till the end of time or the end of your account. Because one of it will happen, and most likely the end of your account. All right, so and the reason why that will happen, I'll share. Right? So trading bots are not limited to total or 100% unassisted trading softwares. Does that make sense? It's very important because this can be the defining point for you, and it might be, let me not cut my tongue, algo trading bot. Make sense? All right, so it doesn't have to be an algo trading bot. It can simply be a trading assistant. But there are bots that do the entire analysis for you. Most times, like, I'm just trying to, of course, there's no way to just categorize everything into black and white, but let me just use these concepts to make it clear. So the algorithmic trading bots, from the simplest, which can simply be, If it sees a support broken or a resistance formed and price breaks above the resistance and retest, take a buy. There are bots that can do as simple as that, right? Because we know that once support is broken, it becomes a resistance, and once price gets back to that resistance, typically, if you don't have the market makers watching you, it should sell. You know that moment where you say once price breaks down below here, goes back up, what should happen? Sell, try to form lower low. Now you can create a bot to do that, and a bot probably has been made. An algorithmic trading bot will take that scenario. You've already programmed it to enter a position of a certain lot size. It will take the lot size you require. It will set the stop loss you plan to trade with, and it will also set a take profit. Whatever happens to that trade will happen. Does that make sense? So that if it goes to SL or it goes to TP, you are not even involved. That's a complete algo trading bot. That's the simplest version. In more complex terms, there are bots that can read the news. Now, I don't want to even say a bot. There are programs, or should I say computers. I think they often refer to them as quants. Like you have quantum, it has to do with quantum computing. They get a lot of data. In fact, it can read news. You know how ChatGPT can understand you. So that's bot. I can't call it bot. You know, they say when something is so big, you can't call it bot again. That computer, which is supposed to be a bot, but carries out algo trading, will read the news, check the charts, check all the sentiments, check everything, and decide which place to take a trade. Does that make sense? Those types are the types used by hedge funds. These guys employ very smart persons, astronomers, physicists, to come up with those kinds of bots. They can even read our sentiment. They know how we are feeling. You know, the market, okay, think about this. If you go online, you say, gee, what have you done to me? You know it's on Facebook. A bot can actually read that emotion. Does that make sense? They can read all our posts about the market and know what the sentiment of retail traders are. They can read all the sentiments of the corporate institutions, where their records are, you know, each of these companies, each of the banks and all of that, they have their own internal, should I say, reports, where they gather data about where they think price will go. They can put all of that together. So that kind of bot is not that kind of system is not just a small bot where it just does support and resistance. They are bots, or should I say, algorithmic trading to that level. But for now, we'll just stick to basic algorithmic trading systems, right? Bots work. For those of us that probably are aware of bots, you would be able to understand these three concepts, but I'll just go through them briefly to make sense. Because out there are primarily three types of bots. Myself, I've done a lot of use of bots, extensive testing, extensive experimentation with bots. I've even built some. Yeah, spare time. Me and my favorite building pair, CJ, bot building colleague, CJ. We've built some bots, and of course they all failed. And they are not out there. We're not selling them. we're still learning. But then we've seen the extent of how bots are. We've done our own research, and primarily there are three kinds of bots out there, regardless of who is selling to you what kind of bot. So long as it's not quantum computer and they don't show you a room that is as big as this room as the source of the processing, just know that they are sending you a simple bot, and it is based on one of these three tech and strategies. Number one is martingale. Can I have the slides up? Martingale strategy bot. What is martingale? How many of us know what martingale is? Just the same three people. It's like all the bot traders are in the middle. All right, okay. Quite a number of people. All right, so think about this. Let's see whether everybody here will fall for martingale. If I go to sports betting in Nigeria, and I take a bet that Nigeria will win Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, let's not use the final. Nigeria will win Ghana, or Ghana will win Nigeria first, and I bet 100 naira. If I take that bet and I'm wrong because Nigeria will win Ghana again and again, This is sentiment. All right, so if I take that bet that Ghana will win Nigeria and I'm wrong, how much will I lose? The 100 naira. Martingale strategy says, if I'm coming back to bet again, now Nigeria versus Cote d'Ivoire, right? I will, if I bet 100 naira that Nigeria will win Cote d'Ivoire and I'm right, well, how much will I make? I bet another 100 naira. Oh, okay, I didn't put multiplier. Okay, let's go back to it, right? Yeah. So let's say the odd is 2. If you know it, you know that you're a betting person. I don't bet. I only do research. All right, so let's say the odd is 2. Let me see who will get the answer. So, and you bet that Nigeria will win Cote d'Ivoire, and you are right. How much will you make? 200. All right, so let's say, so that means you have a 1:2. That's why it's 200, right? So this, Martingale says, every time you lose, you double your amount of money you put into your bet, so that if you eventually win, you will make back your original money, your loss, plus your original money, plus profit, extra profit, typically. Now, this is just a broad definition. Does this make sense? So you are trading the market, you lost $50. If you trade again, you don't want to just make $50. You want to make how much? Like 100. In fact, 150, because that one plus, I want to make my original money plus some profit, or at least 100, right? So Martingale is like, if I lose once, twice, I've lost 200. I need to do something to make sure that my third trial will recover me my what? 200, and then also give me a profit. So that's how the concept started. But there's just one problem with the concept. It makes sense. So a lot of times, almost all Martingale bots make a lot of sense until the day of doom. And how does doom happen? You know, you keep doubling how much you are risking. So you started out with $100, you lost. You now go double. How much? 200, you lost. You now go double. How much? 400, you lost. Accumulated, that's 700. You now go double again. You lost 800, that's 1.5. Double again, that's 1.6 plus 1.5, 3,001. And that's how the losses will keep stacking. Then one, you know, it has now, you have lost 3,000, maybe just you have 5,000. What would you do? You now go double with your last 2K. Because if you lose, I mean, you've lost 3,000, you have to do something that will bring back your 3,000 and still give you a profit. You now go with 2,000 again. If you lose that, you've lost everything. Make sense? This is the, like, I'm trying to make it as basic as possible. That's the concept around Martingale. So Martingale just says, increase the lot size of what you trade or how you are entering the market, so that peradventure, whenever you are right, you will make back all you've ever lost, except if you lose that one again, right? So Martingale bots generally, if you see their equity curve, I don't have one, I would have added that, but I can show you from a Google search quickly. All right, if you see their equity curve, how many of us know what an equity curve is? Even the few people that knew bots, equity curve is now. All right, if you check their performance, how they are, you know, once you start trading, you have your trade history and you see the amount of money you've made and lost. If you check the win rates and the performance of any bot that is using Martingale, is always straight up to the roof until you see one mark facing down. And that thing happens oftentimes because of how the market works. I'll still talk more about that. I think I even have, all right, okay. My next slide, Martingale strategy talks about it doubles or multiples of lot sizes. Usually they go in a grid. So when it's a bot, if it's a person doing Martingale, it's just one trade. If it's a bot, you keep stacking. You take your first buy, it doesn't go your way, you add another one, double the lot size. You add another one, you add another one, you add another. How many lots did you now close? 31 lots. That is a lot. I often use my puns in the office, so my office guys already know these my jokes. 31 lots. Do you know that if this is a 100K account, 31 lots on a 100K account, you just need about how many pips? Like, how many? This math that I'm doing here. 100, 150 pips, and the whole of your 100,000 will vanish. How easy is it for the price? Let's say you are trading GU. How fast can GU move 100 pips? Experienced person. Intraday. In one day. With one news. In fact, not strong news. All this PPI. All this side news. You just see one news that will just take. You know that moment where you're like, it has been selling now. You know the idea is it is selling. It has been selling. How about I should soon buy? Okay, to buy. Now it must buy. Do you know that if this graph is looking fine just because this next one is not here? If the next buy was beneath at 32, that account will have 64 lots open. On how much? 100K. So, but then, does this mean martingale strategy is entirely bad? No, but you must understand the risk. Does this make sense? You must understand the risk, because martingale strategy is a strategy. People buy a martingale strategy bot, for instance, and then they do what? They use $100 to run martingale. Their first trade, 0.01. Second trade, 0.02. Third trade, 4, 6. By the time it's 0.1, your $100 needs 10 pips to go off. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? So this simply means if you are using a martingale strategy bot, you must understand something very well. Number one, the size of your account matters a lot. The size of your account matters. So if you are buying a bot or you have a bot and you don't know, just first understand, you can just go open the bot, leave it to trade, see how it trades. Because oftentimes it will look like this, actually. You see the buys, you see the lines, right? If you see that it is increasing the lot sizes, that is a martingale bot. Whether it is 0.01 to 0.02 to 0. It is a martingale bot. How many of us have a martingale bot? Oh, we have somebody here. Okay, another person here. Great. You must have seen all of this. If you see it increasing lot size, it is surely a what? Martingale bot. One thing you must keep at the back of your mind is that what? You need to understand how much capital you need to have in that account so that it doesn't violate your account before you even say jack. A lot of people buy martingale bots and in 2 days they are back. They are like, what's going on? I just turned the bot on last week. Today I'm seeing 0. You know people that don't understand bots will think you just turn on a bot and go to sleep for 3 weeks and come back. Almost assuredly you meet something you don't like. Either the bot has gone astray or the VPS has gone astray or your broker has done something astray. Make sense? There's something astray. Right. So a martingale bot, the most important thing, so we're just doing this so that you get knowledge and you understand how these things work. If you're using a martingale bot, the most important thing is to understand what? Your risk, because it is a high risk bot. Martingale bots are automatically high risk, but there is no way around it. Just know it. All right? Now, there are other bots that can use the martingale strategy without using adding the trades in grids, meaning they only take a single trade, wait for it, take the next one bigger, but it's still the same risk in the long run. Does this make sense? All right. The second type of strategy is the grid strategy, similar to what I already described. But however, in the grid strategy, it doesn't have to martingale, but it load trades at intervals. There are bots that do this. I don't know if you've seen those types where you open your chart and you have multiple positions open in intervals. The intervals can be based on time. Some other times it's based on price. Other times it is based on a combination. Right? What's the idea? Price can't keep going in one direction forever. Is that true? It is relatively true. Well, it is true, but it will not turn back until your account is gone. That's the only problem with that theory. It can keep going in one direction. It will eventually turn back. The question is whether it will turn before your account is gone. So the strategy says, let's keep putting positions, because we know eventually, based on mean reversion principle, which means that price will always come back to a central line, that like there's an arbitrary line. You see all those moving averages where price is always going above them, coming hard. So that's the theory. So by the time you load trades, buy, price will eventually come up and close them. If you go down up again, you can put sell. By the time it comes down, it closes them. This is the second kind of bot. It is not martingale. It is based on greed strategy. So typically, they can have individual TPs, that's take profits, like this one that you're seeing. This is an example. While other times, just like this, they have a cumulative take profit, just one position to close all of it. However, it doesn't have to be in martingale like this other chart, right? Those are literally the two kinds of bots we have, apart from the third. The third now is automated trading, or basically algo trading, which is a bot that trades someone's normal strategy. What I mean normal, you do analysis, you see where you want to price to enter, it takes a trade, and you wait for it to hit your TP or your SL. Make sense? So that's a third kind of bot. So typically those kind of bots, you leave them on, you don't see positions. You can leave them a day, 2 days, no position, then it takes a position whenever the criteria is met. Does this make sense? So single position trading. Has anyone else seen another bot outside of these three types? So maybe, I hope you're not trying not to shame me, that kind of, this guy is on stage. If I tell him now, it'll be like he does. I want to learn too. All right, this is a boot camp. It's not a conference where you just have smart guys telling you only the things you should do. We want to listen from you also. So have you seen any other bots outside of these three kinds of bots? Anyone? It's not using, I don't know what it is doing. It's not trading based on single signal, meaning one analysis, enter, close. One analysis, enter, close. Who else has seen a bot outside of this? Right. I think this just makes our work easier as people. Number one, if anybody is offering you a bot, first question is what? Is it martingale? If they say no, you ask them, is it? If they say no, you now say that means you have your trading system. Now say, okay, thank you very much. The second question you need to ask is, can I see some trade performance? Very important. Now, typically, martingale bot. See, if somebody tells you it's martingale bot, I'm just giving you a heads up. That bot will fail one day. In case you are using one and you already believe in it and you have put all your life saving behind a martingale, no. This will not lie to you. Value flow trading does not like lying. One day, not today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, maybe after your kids have grown, but that day will come. Why? Because the market behaves in certain ways that allows that. So long as it is martingale, one day it will fail. Back then in 2017, boss used to tell us of, I think it was when they depegged, is it the euro? And price moved, is it 6,000 pips in one day? 6,000 pips. It was 6,000, sir? 6,000 pips. Please, which bot can withstand that? Now, if you have stop loss, maybe it will hit stop loss at maybe 200 pips in because price was looking for, it was price discovery for like maybe a few minutes before anybody's trade will close. But at least, it is going to be almost impossible for any bot to even survive that. Does that make sense? Typically, during times of war, gold, which is a safe haven asset, can start rallying. Last time it rallied, how many pips? 2,000 pips in one direction. So imagine your bot is saying, after 100 pips, it will turn back. After 100, it will turn back. After another 100, you turn back. How many times will it go? 20. Will your account survive that? Make sense? So it's not that the bots are wrong, but events will happen. Does this make sense? So this means that even if, regardless of which bot you are using, whether it's a martingale, which is high risk, grid trading, which is mid in a sense, or automated strategy, which is far lower risk because you literally have control over almost everything, right? You have to be aware that these things can happen. Does this make sense? I hope somebody's getting, should I say, saved? Or else you enter trouble. And there are people that have built companies based on bots, and they just didn't know that martingale bots don't work forever. Yeah, once you put up, the good thing about martingale bots is that, once that last trade, that's, you started with 3K, you've lost 2K, was so big, it will be like, I'm untouchable. My bot works, always. Until it goes off. Does this make sense? All right. One other thing to take note of is be very aware of how much money you are committing to which kind of bot. Like I said, martingale bots, generally you want to have a lot of balance. Now, whether you're a balance or a cent account balance, that's something else. You can use cent account balance to expand your, should I say, base capital. For instance, instead of, if you have $100, it can appear as 10,000 cents, and you can use it to now do further testing or experimentation. So instead of risking a real $10,000, you can begin your testing with a cent account. Make sense? So those are things you should be aware about for martingale bots. For grid strategy bots, you can always start out even with a smaller account size, but still you need significant capital. But if it's a strategy that was just automated, then you can go on with a little capital.